So in this video today, as the title might suggest, I'm going to be talking about Titanfall and my expectations for the game when it comes out. But I would just like to state that I was going to make this video around 2 months ago, and I mentioned on Twitter that I was going to make this video, but I decided to hold off with it because I didn't want the videos to end up the same way as my Battlefield 4 build-up videos did. Now I have the beauty of hindsight with Battlefield 4, we can see the release wasn't as good as the hype suggested, and therefore I didn't want to do the same with Titanfall, which is why this video is just coming now, around a month before release. So most of you will obviously know about Titanfall by now. It's a game that's made by Respawn Entertainment, which are the developers of the core Modern Warfare series in Call of Duty. However, those are the guys that broke away from Infinity Ward and formed their own studio, and it's backed by EA as the producer. The idea behind the game is a fast-paced, first-person shooter, action-packed in an arena-style setting, but with massive robots as well. Now, as you might expect, that arena-style gameplay is obviously an influence from Call of Duty because, as I said, these guys developed the first Modern Warfare game, and we know from Call of Duty 4 that these guys know how to make a first-person shooter. So in terms of my actual expectations, first of all, I'm really looking forward to this game. It's going to be built on the Source engine, so we're not going to have lots of problems with netcode. It's going to be very similar to Call of Duty in terms of its actual gameplay style. Now, a lot of people play down Call of Duty, especially Battlefield commentators, by saying it's nowhere near as realistic, but the idea of a futuristic mech robot shooter is not very realistic, and therefore I think that gameplay style is really going to suit Titanfall. Looking a little bit further into those gameplay aspects, we know that Titanfall is going to employ a 6v6 game style. Now, a lot of people have commented already saying that why is it only 6v6 when this game is so heavily marketed for next-gen consoles, the Xbox One mainly, and of course the PC. Why is it only 6v6? Surely those platforms could facilitate a higher player count. Well, that is certainly true. We know that the Xbox One can support up to 32 players on one team in Battlefield 4 and have a total of 64 players on one map at any time. It's just that the developers felt that 6v6 felt fine, and going any higher felt like a little bit too cramped on the map. You've got to remember that the Titans fall from the sky, which you can call in. Of course, that's 6 more possible Titans at any one time on the map. And then you've also got AI bots added into that, and I believe there can be 6 per team at any one time. So essentially, you can have 36 moving objects, or at least shootable objects, on the map at any one time. So it's not like it's going to feel empty at all. I mean, I played this at Eurogamer, and I had trouble trying to figure out which ones were bots and which ones were players. Only because I hadn't played the game before, but it's not like I felt I was missing out on any of the action at all with 6v6. And one more thing I will just quickly mention is that I've had a couple of questions put to me by you guys saying, do I think Titanfall is going to work well as an eSports title? Now, I don't know if the developers Respawn have any plans to implement any eSports features to the game, but in terms of actually whether it could be a good eSports game, I think there's a good chance it could do. I just think it needs a good community following first of all before any sort of eSports kind of talk will actually kick off. But in terms of how the game is actually developed, it's developed on the Source engine, as I mentioned earlier on, which we know has some of the best hit registration and best netcode in the gaming industry in terms of esports because it runs Counter-Strike, which is a really good esports game to watch. And also, that 6v6 style is very reminiscent of Call of Duty, as I've said already, and we know how well Call of Duty works as an esports game, so could it be a good esports game? Yes. Will it be a good esports game? That remains to be seen. Now, looking at the game as a whole, this is something entirely different to just the gameplay aspect that I'm personally looking forward to. The game in general, at the moment, for the communities that I'm a part of, it's very skeptical as to how the game is actually going to play out. A lot of people are of the opinion that Titanfall is going to come out. Lots of people are going to buy it from the Call of Duty community and the Battlefield community. They're going to play it, and then it's going to die like a dead horse. Now, I don't agree with that totally. A lot of people are comparing Titanfall to Crysis 3, which we know died a very quick death. But I personally don't think that that's going to be the case. There are going to be a lot of Call of Duty players out there that will translate very well to a game like this. Obviously, it's familiar territory for them, because the guys that are making it are essentially the guys that used to make their Call of Duty games, so I can see how they'd fit in very well. In terms of the Battlefield guys, I think it's very much split down the middle. We have the Battlefield veterans and we have the guys that joined the series around Bad Company 2 and Battlefield 3. So in that aspect, I can see that being the deciding factor as to whether those guys will actually play Titanfall or will play Titanfall consistently after they bought it on release. I think the Battlefield veterans aren't going to like the game as much because essentially it's a run and gun shooter, which is what a lot of the Battlefield veterans are crying about with Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4, how sort of the series has changed to accommodate players coming in from, let's say, the Call of Duty side of things. But if you are one of those guys that has come into the Battlefield series with Bad Company 2 and Battlefield 3, I think you'll adapt very well to Titanfall. It's a very fast-paced shooter, and that's what's offered in Battlefield 3. Not so much in Battlefield 4. There are still elements of it in close quarters maps like Operation Locker, for example, but I think those guys that have come in at that point of the Battlefield series are going to enjoy Titanfall much, much more than the Battlefield veterans will. That's just my opinion, and I'm sure there will be a lot of variation within that opinion that I've given, and there will be lots of other opinions given as well. So if you do have a different opinion to me and you think I'm talking crap, then make sure you leave it in the comments down below, because this video about my expectations of Titanfall is no way going to be exactly the same as what somebody else thinks about Titanfall. It's a brand new game, we've hardly seen any footage for it. I've played it, I really liked it, so I'm looking forward to it. Some guys that might not have played it have looked at it and gone, it's not really my style. If that's your thing, make sure you leave a comment down below, because this video is really about everyone's expectations for the game, and it's going to give me a good indicator as to whether I'm going to include Titanfall on a regular basis on my channel, so there's a big hint right there. But that is the end of today's video, guys, so if you did enjoy this one, please make sure you hit that like button, and as I've said already, comments are always appreciated. But until next time, my name is Westy, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.